Hi all, it is Caitlin123 ABC, and I'm coming at you on the most horrendous, horrifying week of the entire semester. That's right, it's finals week. It is T-minus 3 days until my first final. So pray for me, y'all. So me and my friends kind of always joke each semester about like the finals week mental breakdowns, which are basically just stress induced, sleep deprived, like moments of hysteria where you're just like so overwhelmed and like you've reached your max. So however it is that you handle that, like whether crying or something like that, it really depends on the person. And so generally, Roxy, people reach that limit, reach their max a few times during finals. So I'm here with 4 tips that'll hopefully at least lessen the amount of mental breakdowns that happen in your finals week. Let's get into the video. So number 1, to keep you out of a mental breakdown during finals week, and that is get things together in your head. So at the beginning of the semester, college professors are required to give you syllabus, at least in the United States. That kind of like shows you objectives, shows you kind of a class schedule of what's going to be happening like weekly or potentially every day in that class. At the end, usually, because they usually have like a general schedule in the syllabus, they'll talk a little bit about your final, at least at my school. And they'll like kind of say like, you know, whether it's comprehensive or whether it's over chapters, you know, A through B, you know, whatever they might be. Kind of if you look over that like maybe even a month in advance, that might be a little bit too like early for you, but if it's like at least like 2 weeks before, I think that'll do. So you can kind of look through or at least ask your professors about whether or not like kind of like basic fundamental questions, so you can kind of be like, okay, this class is comprehensive, I had problems in this class, so I'm going to spend a lot more time on this class, and then this class over here I'm going to spend less time because I don't need, you know, kind of like going through that in your brain, so you can kind of, so you're not surprised by anything, you know, too crazy like, oh, I thought, you know, that it wasn't comprehensive and now I have 2 days to, you know, somehow get that together while still getting all my other stuff. So so not being surprised by like kind of the general questions about the final can really help. So that would probably be my first tip. My second tip, and probably one of the more important ones, is to schedule your time to study and sticking with it. So my general rule of thumb, what I use, but you kind of know yourself obviously better than I do, so you can add or subtract to this, but I usually say for every final that you have, you should spend, and this also depends on your major, that's a big one too, you should spend 1 day in intensive study, and I think this grows more as you go further on in your education, so you can add probably like 2 days onto it each like new year. But since I'm kind of starting out my college experience, this is my second semester, I would say like 5 days for my 5 finals. So you intensively study one of the finals on one of those days, but I usually like to mesh 2, like if I know there's a final that's relatively easy, or something that I don't need to focus on, I try and like mesh that with another one that's a little bit on the easier side, so that the last day, like the day before finals, I can just kind of review over everything. I think that's really nice. So that's what I generally like to do. And this is so big because I feel like the reason that people like freak out so much during finals, there's lots of reasons for it, but it's like you didn't give yourself enough time to feel like prepared and everything like that. So scheduling out time, it also like kind of brings you a little bit of peace, because if you look at all the things that you have to do for your finals in like a huge ginormous stressful blob, it's like, oh, that's like really overwhelming. And so kind of taking chunks out of it and allocating it for certain days at certain times, that can be really, really helpful and like make you feel a little bit better too. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is reward yourself while you're studying and reward yourself after finals. And you can pick one or the other. I do both. You don't want to reward yourself for everything because then I feel like then it doesn't mean anything. But usually what I like to do is I like to study for like an hour, hour and a half, or by subject. So if I'm doing math in the morning, like if this is like a Saturday or a Sunday or something, so it's like if I do like math in the morning for a few hours, then I can like be like, okay, so after I change from math to like writing in the afternoon, I'll give myself like an hour or like give myself like 30 minutes depending on how much time I have, and that'll usually help kind of give yourself a brain break, because I think you can become like mentally exhausted just from like all the thinking that you're having to do. So giving yourself like a 30-minute to an hour break in between subjects, or like every hour, every 2 hours, just kind of whatever your limit is, I think that'd be really good just for you to like take like a legitimate nap, like set an alarm for an hour, like so you can take like a nap, or you can look at your phone and everything like that, and it's like guilt-free because you've allocated that time. So I think that's what I kind of do to reward myself while I'm studying. And then after my final, I think usually I save about $10 extra, and it's guilt-free conscience of me spending it, and I'll like go out to eat with one of my friends, or like get myself like, you know, like my favorite treat at a restaurant or something, or or you know, buy something that I wanted to, or you know, whatever it is for you and what your budget is. I think it's nice to kind of treat yourself, even if it's something little, to kind of celebrate the achievement of your finals. So that is definitely something that I would recommend to do. So that's my third one. So number 4, this is a big one that maybe people won't agree with, but sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. And I think this is so important. I cannot run on like 4 hours of sleep and do well. And even people who do that would probably be even better if they slept for longer than 4 hours, even if they can get away with sleeping for only 4 hours and everything like that. Like, and I think that, you know, you're already mentally exhausted. You don't need to be physically exhausted. It really hurts your interpersonal relationships with other people, generally if you're kind of grouchy and tired. And it can also definitely help you, will hurt you overall, like mentally during your finals. And even like statistically speaking, studying in the middle of the night is like not even close to as good as studying during the day, because your brain is just not all there. Your IQ starts going down, like my grandpa likes to say, after you know, you get to those later hours of the night. So that is why it's so important to sleep. And I know it's hard, but I think having sleepless nights is just an indicator that you did not allocate enough time. You should always allocate your time super well and super in advance so you don't feel that, because that can really add. If you're tired, man, those mental breakdowns like happen so much more for so much you know, less, you know, it'll happen more often for less reasons than if you have more sleep. Then that mental breakdown will be a compilation of multiple things. So yes, definitely sleep. I know it's hard, but try and schedule your time well enough so you can get good sleep, probably the week before finals week, and then obviously finals week itself. So that's my 4th tip and final tip, and I just want to leave you guys with this that I saw in a video once talking about like stress like during school, and it's this: you don't get extra credit for stress. I think that's so good. So try not, as hard as it is, just stress out too much about it, guys. So anyways, I wish you the best of luck, and wish me luck too, because I'm gonna need it. So anyways, till next time, talk to you guys later. Bye.